Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place with everything related to Amazon FBA, private label, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring once more my friend Ben Leonard, who is the co-founder of Ecom Brokers, which are one of the top experts when it comes to helping you find the right route for exit for your Amazon business. He's also a serial entrepreneur. He had an amazing brand, Best Gear, which he exited a couple of years back, and for me, it's definitely a pleasure to have Ben today because he's has a ton of knowledge when it comes to the Amazon space and e-commerce in general. And today, I want to have a open conversation about what is happening in the space, what are the things that we did as entrepreneurs to succeed in the Amazon space, and then just go from there and make a fun episode. So Ben, welcome to the show. How you doing, my friend?
I am really well. It's good to see you again, Vincenzo. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. I think only 1 week ago we were partying here in London and at a
Yeah.
third session, so it was a lot of fun, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a great event. I think I've been to four or five, like I've been to every seller sessions basically
Yeah.
since it started, and this was the first one I spoke at. And I had
Yeah.
such a fun time. I
Yeah,
think
it
the,
was
the
great.
audience this year was great. So
Mm.
many sellers, not too many
Much bigger
service
as well.
providers and
Much bigger as well.
aggregators. Yeah. There was like, must have been, I don't know, 260,
Yeah.
280 people or something.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah.
And everybody, like, I felt like this year the community felt really nice. Like, no
Hmm.
cliques, no little
No
subgroups.
pitchy. No pitchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody just helping each other and
Yeah.
being, lots of entrepreneurial spirit. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think I totally agree. I think this is one of the first year that I have seen not only in sales session, a lot of events. There's been a reduction of all this pitchiness, and now it's becoming more and more community focused because we know what happened last couple of years.
Yeah,
So many service providers, aggregators, etc. But yeah,
yeah,
man. I mean, your presentation was very nice. I think people enjoyed a lot, and I think actually that's something that I would like to cover today because I remember during your presentation, basically everything that you show us is what helped you to achieve the success that you had in your previous brand and what you're trying to doing with your business. And I
mhm,
think we should start talking about what are the challenges that people is encountering right now selling on Amazon, because I think we're reaching an age in the Amazon space that the hacks are really not existent anymore. We need to go back to the basics, really focusing on branding, really focusing on bringing a nice product to the market. And I think that's where people is struggling because a lot of people in the past couple of years they were having a success because of the tricks, because of the rebates, because of this and that. But I feel the market now is becoming more and more mature, and I feel that is what bringing so many challenges. I don't know if you agree with this point, and what have you been seeing as well with all these brands you audit and so on. Yeah.
yeah. You're totally right. The challenges that we face now as e-commerce business owners, and let's say Amazon sellers, right? If we're going to assume that you own an e-commerce business and Amazon is one of your main sales channel, probably your
Yeah.
main biggest sales channel, then the challenges we face are tough. It's much harder now than it used to be.
Hmm.
It's harder
Yeah.
to rank, it's harder to get reviews, and Amazon is much more of a pay to play platform.
That's right.
And I think that the secret, and it shouldn't be a secret,
Yeah.
but the secret to success is to, and I spoke about this in London, is to get outside of the Amazon goldfish bowl. So
Hmm.
what I see a lot of businesses come across my desk every day, either because people are coming to us at ecom brokers or they're just
Hmm.
coming to me for support.
Yeah.
And even now in 2023, and third party selling on Amazon has existed now for almost a decade. Even now, I see far too much people just selling stuff and
Hmm.
not enough actually building a brand. And so when I say the goldfish bowl and getting stuck in it, what I mean is you're just obsessed with purely the Amazon platform, and you're constantly chasing sales there. So like somebody buys, product A from you, and
Hmm.
instead of building a relationship with that customer so that then when they're ready they'll buy product B, C, D, and E, you're just chasing somebody else to buy product A again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is not sustainable. And so what I'm trying to coach people to do is actually treat their business with respect rather than
Mhm.
like a side hustle, and build a relationship with their customers so that they will love you and keep buying all your products.
Yes, totally agree. I think, and that's a mindset that unfortunately, a lot of people still have in the Amazon space. We only focus on getting as many sales as possible, position your product organically. But at the end of the day, we only focus really on a transaction basis, like just making the sale and that's it, that actually building the community, the branding behind, like what is the extra value you're offering to the client. And that's a big mistake I see across the board whenever we do even audits with clients and everything. I totally agree. They just focus on product, 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 selling, selling, selling. But at the end of the day, what are you building? I mean, what is the end goal? Is only to make a few extra thousands in terms of revenue and that's it? Or you actually want to leave a legacy in your niche, in your community, etc. And I feel that's what is a lot of brands are lacking on Amazon, which then at the end of the day, the only thing they have to compete on is the pricing. And that's why you see all the margins going down, people killing each other with PPC, paying £2 or £3 per click, and then is a race to the
Yep.
bottom.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what I'm trying to encourage people to do is think long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than it be, okay, this tool has told me that I should launch this product because there's not too many reviews, but there's a decent amount of revenue available here,
Yeah.
and there's not too much competition. You can still even launch into a competitive niche, provided you've got the cash flow to support it. But really, it's about saying, okay, what am I building, not what am I selling? Because a brand is a group of products that solve problems for a particular group of people. And so it's asking, well, who are my people and what do I want to offer them, rather than I'm just going to sell this product and then sell the next product, because those two products probably aren't going to match up and the whole thing's not going to make sense. And ultimately, you mentioned there that I'm involved in the exit space. Well, ultimately, most of us are building these businesses to sell for a large payday later.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to sell it if you just are selling a mishmash of stuff, or even if you are selling like a group of products that make sense. Let's say you're selling, you have a scuba diving business, right? You're selling scuba diving accessories. If it's not treated like a brand and you're not actually creating an experience for your customers and a relationship with them and providing them with any value, then you are going to find it way more difficult to grow and way more difficult to have returning customers and to demonstrate growth opportunities and to tell a compelling story to a buyer that they should buy your business, when your competitor has a fantastic brand and raving fans, and all you have is a group of scuba stuff that people will occasionally buy. It's going to be much harder to sell.
Yes, yes. I think, to be honest, one of the reason I'm guessing, most people really that don't do it is, first of all, is the amount of extra work it takes. Because I feel the other issue I see in the Amazon space, which is taking a lot of people by surprise, is that, let's be honest, a couple of years back on Amazon, just by having, a relative okay product and launching some PPC, you will do okay. But now you actually need to do, as we are talking now, a proper brand. And I feel a lot of people realistically don't have the skill, because they come from an era that you didn't really need to do this branding and this ecosystem outside of Amazon as well. And being said this, I think it would be nice to ask you, like, how would you advise right now an entrepreneur, an Amazon seller that is struggling and they really want to build this brand and this ecosystem around the product, right, and just selling a me too product, where they should start? I mean, where should you start as a brand owner right now on Amazon, in terms of this is the first step you should take towards being different than the rest, and really build something that long term is really gonna add value, right, and focusing on
Yeah.
the today. Yeah.
So it's all about positioning.
Mm.
And positioning there's two levels of this, I guess. There's your product positioning, and then there's your brand positioning. So if we think about product positioning, because we're thinking about somebody who's just starting out, right, and they're thinking about launching their first product. So bear in mind, yes, you're launching your first product, but you need to actually know what you're going to build out on the back of that, right? So I call the first product a keystone product. And the reason I call it that is I come from an ecology background. In ecology, we talk about keystone species. So, for example, the wolf is a keystone species. And when they reintroduced that to the Yellowstone National Park, the whole ecosystem thrived because it helped to restore the ecosystem.
Yeah.
When your first product is your keystone product, it is the product around which you're going to build your brand. So it's a product that makes sense for your customers, perhaps, to enter your niche into. So let's just pretend that you're building a brand. Let's say it's a brand of knitting products, because that's your passion. You're going to launch your first product. How are we going to differentiate your first product, and how are we going to make it unique? Well, there's a few things we can think about. We can think about its function, so what it does. We can think about the way that it looks. We can think about the pricing. We can think about the way that you present it. We can think about the way that you brand it, and we can think about the way that you position it in terms of on a sliding scale from sort of
Yeah.
commodity all the way up to luxury, right? So let's say you're launching a set of knitting needles that are especially designed for people with arthritis, so that's easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, you're standing out. But then, how else are we going to get unique? Perhaps you're going to make it visually different and more appealing than your competitors. Perhaps you're very good at copy and you're going to write more compelling copy than your competitors. You're going to have better imagery than your competitors. You're going to stand out because you're actually putting it at a premium price point. You're solving a particular problem to do with arthritis that your competitors aren't solving. You get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So when you're starting out, you really need to be making sure that you're positioning your product and then overall your brand in a way that stands out from the crowd. Doesn't mean you have to do something brand new no one has thought about. Of course, there might be other people out there
Yeah.
with a brand of knitting products for people with arthritis, but you can aspire to do it better or make it slightly different than them and make it unique to you and your audience.
Yes. And I think something that I like about this approach, as you call it, the center of the whole ecosystem, is that I think this approach is the nice thing, and I see this is another mistake I see a lot with people selling on Amazon, is that when they launch the first product, they don't really have a vision for what is going to be my catalog 5, 10 years from now. So they launch a product that maybe has some good numbers, but as you say, they don't really think, okay, what extra accessories I can put that I can upsell these accessories to my initial product, or what kind of activities could complement my product with. And they don't really study the avatar. They are only focused on the numbers they see on the Chrome extension, the revenue, the lack of reviews, etc., and the launcher. But I agree, they don't really focus on that ecosystem, which is super important. And being said that, I also wanted to ask you, like, right now when it comes to selling on Amazon, and when it comes to launching a brand, would you say it's very important to have this like outlining from the very beginning to understand where you're going in terms of how you're gonna do the upselling of those accessories down the line, how you're gonna create the community? Or would you say this is more a process that you need to understand the basics of what is your community and then you build the step by step? Like, what is usually the best approach right now? Because again, it's something complicated, to really.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
You hit the nail on the head there. Complicated.
yeah.
What I don't want to do is overwhelm people and
Mm,
make them try to think that they need to be an expert at absolutely everything when they start out. It's not realistic.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I often talk about, beginning with the end in mind and understanding what you're building for an end goal and to sell it and all that good
Hmm.
stuff. That is true, and that wants to be on your radar, but you don't want to get distracted by that. I like to
Yeah.
call it just in time learning. I
Mm,
think I learned that phrase from Scott Volker on The Amazing Seller back in the day, right?
hmm.
One of the OGs.
Yeah,
And basically, it means focus on what is in front of you now, the next few steps, rather than the entire
yeah. The things
the
that you can
entire
see right now. Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
right, and worry about the other stuff later. So yes, it's important to think about building a community and how you're going to build your tribe of people that love and
Mm-hmm.
support your brand, but focus on what you can do now. So for example, let's say you're starting out and you've
Mm-hmm.
been researching your product and developing it with your manufacturers, and
Mm-hmm.
now you've placed your first order with your manufacturers and it's on a boat and it's going to take 6 or 8 weeks to get to Europe or the US or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Well, use those 6 or 8 weeks to engage with your community.
Mm-hmm.
document Document the journey. Tell them about your product development. Give them helpful, compelling, free, engaging, useful information that makes them know, like, and trust you as the face of your brand and your brand more generally. Get inside your community. Where do they hang out? Facebook groups or Discord or subreddit groups? Give them value there. Become a trusted member of the community, and they will rally around you and your brand, and they will support you. And
Mm-hmm.
people will listen and they'll say, "But Ben, this does not scale." But of course it doesn't scale. You're starting out. Like,
Yeah.
it's not supposed to scale yet. You're
Takes
literally
time.
just starting,
Takes
right?
time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. It's not supposed to scale. When
No.
you are doing millions of dollars in revenue, of course, you're not going to be responding to millions of
Yeah,
comments in a Reddit
of
group,
course. Yeah.
but you will have a team who will be, doing incredible things in DMs on Instagram and all that kind of fun stuff that I spoke about at Seller Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start out, yeah, you definitely still want to be building the community, but it's about doing focusing on what you can do now. Can
Mm-hmm.
you magically reach a zillion people on Instagram or TikTok? Well, maybe if you get lucky and you produce something viral. What's more realistic is to actually interact one to one with people who are probably going to support you when you launch.
Yes. In fact, when I remember having a look at, your past brand, basically, and having a look at what you did with social media and everything, I, I mean, I can definitely see how that was one of the biggest pillars towards the success that the brand had. That you really had that tribe of people that really they were proud of using the product. They were taking pictures and generating very genuine content, which is, I think, that's something that is been changing as well in the space. Like people is getting tired of that visual content that looks so professional, high end, and everything. Like people want to see real people, like me too people, like people I see in the supermarket, people I see
Yep.
in the gym, like not a super top model that's not realistic. And I feel trying to do that regardless of which one is your niche. I think that's where really you can build that thing that's extra, because at the end of the day, every single niche, I bet there's always that kind of tribe hunger. Like people want to feel that they belong to something, and they really have somebody to feel proud of doing, of using, etc. And I feel like, yeah, I just think that what you did with basket was amazing. I haven't seen a lot of brands doing it, and that's why I 100% agree that that's a must nowadays on brands. In fact, if you see all the brands that are succeeding right now on Amazon, the ones that are having amazing exits, most of them, they're having that now. They're having that try. They're having that external community, because I mean,
Yep. I mean,
it's a must. I mean, you're seeing it
it
that.
totally is,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah,
it,
yeah,
it makes a huge difference. I'll give you a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
of examples. I recorded the two examples of videos that I recorded on my phone. No,
Mm-hmm.
three examples, right? If you'll indulge me, and
Yeah.
anyone that was at Seller Sessions will know about two of them.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, I didn't present at Seller Sessions. Here's what I did. I was getting tons and tons of messages from customers, both on the Amazon platform and through our website and email address. And they seemed to kind of assume, in the way that they were speaking to us, I could tell that they thought we were some enormous corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that they would love it when they found out I was just some guy, right?
Yeah,
So I recorded a video of myself in my garage, surrounded by boxes of inventory.
yeah.
And I posted this and pinned it to the top of the Facebook page.
Wow.
And then what I
Okay.
did was, in the first email in the welcome series, I gave them a direct link to that video. So two things happened. One is, I it made my Facebook page show up way more for other people who didn't even
Mm-hmm.
like my page, because it spiked the Facebook algorithm.
Yeah.
That post went semi-viral, and people were like, "Oh wow, this is just like some guy, and he's just like me." Now I really I liked the brand before. Now I love the brand, right? Because it's a guy like me. I can relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people buy from brands, but they connect with people. So that was like, I would say people should embrace quality content, but with a crappy medium, like a crappy video
Mm-hmm.
on your phone.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
The content is quality, but the medium is kind of crappy, even though like
Yeah.
phones produce really good quality
Yeah,
recordings.
because people get caught on the thing. Oh, I need to have the
Yeah,
perfect lighting, the perfect
yeah,
camera. Like
totally.
people don't really care about that. I mean,
Exactly, right?
yeah,
And here's another example, and this is a great example of escaping the Amazon goldfish bowl.
yeah.
So one of my products was a pair of boxing hand wraps. These are
Hmm.
bandages that go underneath your boxing gloves. And I wanted to give the customers a valuable piece of information to help them use the product properly. In other words, wrap their hands properly with the hand wraps. So when they bought the product, there was a URL that said, go to this or scan the code to get the user
Hmm.
guide. And when they did that, they landed in a chatbot where I gave them the user guide, but also gave them a link to this helpful video. I recorded the video on my phone on my kitchen table. The video has had 5 million views.
Wow.
Now, but I did not sell 5 million hand wraps.
No.
But I only drove traffic to that video for my customers. So what happened? Well, I gave my customers helpful information. They liked the video and viewed it, and they subscribed to my channel. So that gave YouTube a positive signal, and they started to show my video to people who were not my customers, but were searching for how to wrap their hands for boxing. Those people also watched my video and liked it and subscribed. And guess what? They clicked the link in the description. They went back and bought the product on Amazon. Amazon loves external traffic. So I was now going to outrank my competitors who were stuck in the goldfish bowl. And because they're subscribed to my channel now, I can show them other products and give them more helpful
Yeah.
content to make them love me even more. So they're going to buy all my other products. And all
Yes.
my competitors were just like, I'd done this. They didn't even know I was doing it. They couldn't keep up
Yeah.
because they were
And I
just
think,
stuck in the corporate world, just trying to sell
yeah.
rubbish on Amazon.
And I think the tough thing as well is that you're building an authority on a niche. So somebody that does boxing, because they see you now putting this content that's very raw, very authentic, they start trusting you more with your products. And in the future, whatever accessory you release in the boxing niche, at least for this example, they will rather prefer your product on top of any huge brand because they already have built that link that they will never be able to have with, the huge brands or those Me Too brands in Amazon. So you basically making that extra niche that is, I bet it's missing on most of these categories. You see what I mean? So super
Yeah,
powerful. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, completely right. Yep.
yeah. Yeah. So now this thing of building the community outside of Amazon, of course it's super powerful, but at the same time, it's something that takes time, especially at the
Mhm.
beginning, because you don't have the momentum of sales, you don't have realistically the volume to build the community fast enough. So I wanted to ask you, are there any specific tips you would advise when it comes to outside of Amazon when it comes to building these communities? Because again, if you're only relying, let's say, on the inserts that you're getting on the packaging to
Mhm.
start building that community, it might take longer, initially. So
Yeah.
what are some of your takes to start building that outside of Amazon with other strategies like influencers and things like
Yep.
that maybe you
Yeah.
can recommend? Yeah.
Completely. So yeah, you're right. It's kind of like a two-way street, isn't it? You're trying to acquire customers on Amazon so that you can engage with them off of Amazon, and yeah, you might turn them into even micro influencers.
Hmm.
You might get user generated content from them. But how can we start the other way around, like outside of
Yeah.
Amazon first, right?
Hmm.
Really good point. So I'm a big fan of documenting your journey, documenting what you're doing. So let me
Hmm.
give you an example. I'm launching a baby brand later this year. We'll be launching on Kickstarter.
Hmm.
We are documenting everything that we're doing, and we're going to share it completely openly in two
Nice.
ways. One, we're going to share it with people who are potentially going to be our customers. So that's parents. So in the appropriate parents groups and the channels on which they are active, we'll be showing how we've developed the product. We'll even be
Mm,
showing us like safety testing the product and setting it on fire to
nice.
show that it's like
Wow.
compliant with the
Okay.
regulations. All this fun stuff, right?
Good.
Because we've got a story to tell, and people will engage with that and be more likely to buy from us, or at
And
least
they will
share it
love
with.
that story that you were struggling as a parent and then you fix the pro yourself by creating a pro.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So that's part of it. The other
Hmm.
thing that we're going to do is actually we're going to share that story with the e-commerce community for two reasons. One is because when we share what we're doing, we are indirectly calling out the fake gurus who don't share what they're doing.
Hmm.
Either because they're not doing anything or what they are doing is like a failure.
Yeah.
But also because, hey, I'm pretty sure a significant proportion of the e-commerce community is parents. So, a lot of them will want to buy it as well, right? Especially
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
see, how cool it is.
Yeah.
So building the community is a huge one. The other is just creating helpful, compelling, useful, engaging, free information that positions you as an authority and makes them know, like, and trust you. It's
Hmm.
classic Gary V jab, 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 right hook stuff. This is not rocket science, which is why
Yeah.
it bamboozles me when people don't do it. So
Hmm.
write good articles, create good video content, and put it in front of your people where they are. So they go to their Reddit groups, go to their Discords, go to Facebook
That's right.
groups,
Hmm.
run ads to it. I'm a big fan of podcasting for brands.
Hmm.
So build a podcast related to the niche of your brand.
Yeah.
Make your brand the sponsor. Talk about your brand occasionally, but obviously it's not about that. It's about delivering value. And then I've got various growth hacks people can use if they want to rank their podcast better. That's going to bring in a ton of leads who are going to know, like, and trust you and your brand, and they're going to buy from you. Your competitors on Amazon aren't doing that. So it doesn't even need to be that you end up having an enormous podcast,
Yeah.
provided you're sending some traffic to Amazon
That's
from
enough.
that.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's enough because your competitors aren't doing it. So anything
Yeah.
over and above what your competitors are doing is gonna make a difference.
Yes, yes, yes. I think actually the podcast ideas is a very interesting one because I mean, in the example of the baby carrier, you could just do like a podcast that talk about, I don't know, review baby products. You just
Yeah,
do episodes where you review the latest product and you have your baby with you and you play it around. And these things are like, something that I bet you're not going to find the space. And if you combine that with the documenting of the journey, and I think that's so powerful. And if you put that in video format and images in your listing and all that, I mean that could be definitely huge, right? And the same copy paste images that you're gonna find on Amazon that everybody does with now with AI
Yeah,
canvas and all of that.
completely. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
probably going to start a podcast for new dads, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Guess what? A lot of the listeners will leave after 6 months because they're not new dads anymore. But
Yeah.
guess
Exactly.
what? There's new dads every single minute of every single day.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like, I know what it's like to be new dad. You're like, oh my God, this is insane.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are probably going to be typing into their podcast app like new dad's advice. And they're going to come
Yes.
across my podcast. And then they're going to be like showing their wife or girlfriend, hey, check out these products that they're talking about on this podcast. This is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
My competitors aren't doing that.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And I think something that on top of the podcast, which is again, it comes down to creating the repetition of content out of the community and building the reputation. Something that I also like a lot about your strategy was how you were combining these bots with the chats, the many chat and all that,
Yeah.
right? So that's something that I think people were using like a couple of years back, but they were not using it really for customer experience. They were just using it for giveaways, which is completely different thing.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about how that helped you,
Yeah.
build the brand, because I feel like nowadays people is definitely lacking that kind of engagement. Like people maybe just put an email on there, like email us if you have an issue or a simple video tutorial, but they don't really follow that chain
Yep.
effect that you did with your brand. So maybe you can give us some insights about that as well.
Absolutely, yes. So many people are not taking advantage of chatbots because they kind of, I don't know, maybe they think they're dead because they were all the rage in like 2018, 19
It's a rebates,
uh,
yeah.
for
Hmm.
rebates and stuff. I never did that. Here's what I did. Um, Imagine you bought my product.
Hmm.
Let's say let's just go back to the boxing hand wraps product, but it could be any, right? You bought
Yeah.
that. And there's an insert and a URL with a QR code. You can choose which you like to go get the user guide. But that takes you direct to my chatbot. Now, the
Hmm.
first thing I'm going to do in the chatbot is give you the user guide because that's what I promised to give you. So it's just going to say, hey, here's the user guide I promised. You click on it and you get the guide. And the guide is just like a PDF hosted on my website.
Hmm.
Now, if I really want to, I could actually put that behind an email gate. It's going to mean two things. One is when you land on the website page to put your email address in, I can pixel you. So now I can
Yeah.
show you ads around the internet.
I can follow you around.
Two, two, I get your email address, of course, so now I can email market to you. Now it's going to add a little resistance, and my conversion rate's going to drop. But a lot of
Hmm.
people want that user guide, so it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Then, if I want to, I can also give you the video, and we spoke about that already, which drives you to YouTube. Then I'm going to say, we're here if you need any help. If you have any problems, email us because I would rather deal with that outside of Facebook Messenger in our emails.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you an email address to contact us, and I'm probably going to offer you a discount code to use. And it's up to me where I drive that. I could drive that to my website. I could drive it to Amazon. Maybe I've just launched on Walmart. I'm going to actually take you off Amazon onto Walmart.
Yeah.
I can be wherever I want. I'm a big fan of driving it to your own website because then you can own the relationship. And actually, the link that I put to take you to my website could be preloaded with a discount, which will increase conversion. And
Which was a nice tip you actually show at the presentation, like the one with the coupon and everything. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, preload it. And I'm just going to finish off the chat by asking you to follow us or like us on social media, and I'll give you a link to like our main channel. Maybe it's Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Because I want my brand I want to cross-pollinate as many channels as possible. I want you to be pixeled. I want you to be in my chatbot so I can launch products there. I want you to be on my email list so I can market to you there. I want you to be watching my YouTube videos, be subscribed there, maybe my podcast if I've got one. I want to be everywhere and be top of mind because you bought product A, you bought the boxing hand wraps. When you're ready to buy some focus mitts or a punch bag, I want you to remember my brand.
And
either
you know
you'll
that I
buy
sell it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I sell it. You know that the boxing hand wraps for good quality. I know what I'm talking about because I've been delivering you helpful content everywhere.
Yeah.
So
You see me
like
everywhere.
and trust me. Yeah. the service that you received when you emailed us to solve a small question was fantastic, right? And you might buy it on Amazon, you might buy it on my website. I don't really care as long as you buy it from me. And that's pretty much it. Show up
Yeah.
and deliver value. And the thing is, it's the compound. People want an immediate ROI. They want a get rich quick scheme, which is what these CS gurus and these this cult
I
like
know.
group try to convince you that they can do. But
Yeah, go to
actually,
AliExpress, get a phone
yeah.
case, flip it on Amazon, make
Oh my
millions.
goodness, I can't believe that even people are still talking about that. But unfortunately, they are. But
Yeah.
it's the compounding effect of showing up and doing this day after day after day that makes a difference. And that's
Yes.
why eventually I hit this critical mass where the flywheel was spinning so fast it was unstoppable. My competitors couldn't keep up. I absolutely crushed them. And it was very clear why then somebody wanted to buy my business.
Yes. Yes. Now, just to start concluding on today's episode, something that I've been getting this question a lot, and I'm gonna ask you because I know you're an expert on this field, is when somebody's looking for exiting, right?
Mm.
How important are all these things into, you know, the multiplier you're gonna get out of your business? Because I get constantly now these questions like, oh, should I start opening my Walmart division, my Shopify division, all this social media, TikTok shopping, etc. Because now, people that want my potential buy my brand, the more channels they see, maybe it's more interesting. But I actually wanted to ask if that's the case. If you are seeing now people that invest on Amazon business, they want to have brands that have a big community outside of Amazon, or you still see them being very Amazon focused when it comes to a strategy? What have you seen right now?
All of this stuff does matter because if
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of reasons. One, if we're just going to think, if we're purely going to think about the numbers for a second, your revenue and profit and your
Mm-hmm.
growth. Well, your revenue and your profit and your growth are all going to increase when you do all these things because you're going to sell more stuff, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but your
Uh,
expenses as well. That's the thing.
huh?
The expenses as well are gonna go up a lot if you start doing all these extra channels, especially like
Sure, but as you
Shopify and other. Yeah,
scale,
yeah,
as
yeah,
you scale, that comes down, and as you scale, your cost of goods decreases. Ultimately, it's an investment.
yeah.
It's going to make your business bigger and more profitable. So that's part
That's
A.
right. Mm-hmm.
Part B is, you can't just say, okay, your Instagram following is X, and
Mm-hmm.
your email list is Y, and that's worth whatever. But what you can say is the buyer isn't just buying your trailing 12 months performance, they're buying your future. And the future is a lot brighter when you have all of these assets, because which you can clearly obviously demonstrate because you have the growth, right? You have the
That's right.
year on year growth, which you've
Yeah,
developed from all these assets. So when you have all this in place, the clear path for a buyer to have a positive trajectory with your business and experience a lot of growth with it is there because of all of these external elements that you've put together outside of the Amazon goldfish bowl.
that's right. Yeah.
So, can you necessarily slap a value on this work? No. Does it make a difference? Hell yeah, it does.
Yes. Good. Good. Yeah. I just wanted to conclude with that because, yes, it's something that I bet you get this question a lot, and
Yeah,
I feel it's gonna add value to people listening to this episode, because people are struggling if the ones especially that do only Amazon, like only Amazon strategy, as you said, they're inside the goldfish, and they always want to know what is the next thing. How do I keep improving as a business owner? How do I keep expanding my brand
yeah.
outside of Amazon? And I just wanted to get that out there for them. So, but yes, Ben, I mean, thank you very much for being here with me today. I think we had a very interesting conversation. Always, very insightful tips from you. So I appreciate that. Before
Pleasure.
we conclude, tell us a little bit about your company, Econ Brokers, how people can get in contact with you, and we conclude with that, right?
Sure. Yeah, so Ecom Brokers is the brokerage I founded with my co-founder Allison in late 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Allison owns probably the best, definitely the best e-commerce accountancy firm in the UK. They're called Mint Accounting, and she
Mm-hmm.
saved the day when the broker I used made a colossal error on my business when I was
Uh,
preparing to sell it. So that was fantastic, and so we
mm,
did the obvious thing and made a better brokerage. Now we
awesome.
help e-commerce business owners all over the world. We've got John Durkitz in North America, who is ex Amazon and ex Foreign Brands.
Mm-hmm.
He comes to the table as well. So between us, we have everything covered: accountancy, mergers and acquisitions. We own and operate our own brands, bought and sold our own brands, and that's why we can help people plan their exits over a long period of time, whether it's 3 months or 24 months, to get you ready to get the best possible deal. We're a bespoke boutique firm who take your business seriously rather than some flipping website. So that's ecombrokers.co.uk. Go
Mm-hmm.
there, click on the big button to get things kicked off, and
Sure.
we'll help you. And then I'm going to throw in a little shameless plug. I'm writing a book. It's called Quit Stalling and Build Your Brand. It's a
Mm,
set of timeless principles for building a successful e-commerce business, even if you have no experience. It's the
that's
book I
good.
wish I'd always had. It's coming out in October. So if you
Nice.
go to benleonard.pro/book, you can get
Yep.
on the waiting list, and there'll be a whole bunch of free bonuses and a discount as well when the book launches.
Nice.
benleonard.pro/book.
Good. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to check it out for sure, 100%. And I'm gonna make sure as well for all the listeners to put all this on the notes so you can find all these links. And yes, Ben, thank you very much for being here. I'm pretty sure this one is just gonna be the one of the more any episodes we're gonna do together. I mean, every single year things change and there's always
Yeah,
something interesting
absolutely.
to talk about. So thank you for being on the show, man. It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Pleasure. I'll see you next week in Estonia.
Yeah. See you next week. Bye bye, man.